All right, so this video is going to be on people throwing out the 200,000, even though that's a disputed number, whatever. Even if it is, solid 200,000 deaths, COVID. Is it worth, should we lock down? Is it worth locking down to have saved these 200,000? And I'm going to say absolutely not. Now, that's a very emotional number that people put out there. Oh, well, just to save the businesses, do 200,000. What if that was your mother, father? Here's the thing. That's in a very emotional way to approach something. And I liken it to this. Think about it. If there's a heart transplant needed, and it's between, let's just say I was an older person. Let's just say it was between me let's just say I'm 70 years old and a child. And honestly, right now I'm 40. So let's just say right now, and a child that's 5 years old that has their whole life ahead of me or ahead of them, is it worth giving that heart to me or that 5-year-old? Now, the emotional part of me and people in my family, they'll say, oh no, well, it would be me and not the child. But let's be fair. We take ourselves out of that situation, it makes more sense to give it to the child. 200,000, let's just say, I know it's a disputed number, I'll say it again, but is that worth decades and possibly a century of poverty? Losing the whole country, is it worth it? No, it's not. And anyone that tries to say that it is worth it, to just shut down and just completely obliterate people's businesses, thrust millions into poverty and all this other thing, is it worth 200,000? If they're saying that it's worth it, they are full of crap. They're either doing it for a political reason or they're here instead of here. Because let's be honest, when will we have ever in society or in civilization have given up the future of the civilization for the momentary death that comes at it, that comes for that? We would have never, what was that, the Indians or whoever, the Native Americans would have never come across the Bering Strait at this point. If we were going to say as a civilization, oh no, we're not even going to try to move forward and go slow. We knew there was going to be death moving forward. They knew there was going to be death. But you know what? You move forward. You move forward with things. This thing is, and especially when it's a situation like now, where the deaths are actually going down, and we're still willing to lock everything down, put everybody out of business, forsake the children, their education and everything. It's not worth. I don't care if it was 200,000. It's not worth forsaking millions of people in their futures for it. I'm sorry, it's just not. In any, like I said before, if you're here, if you're thinking from the heart and you're thinking momentarily right there at the beginning, at the right there was something that's right in front of you, sure, it makes total sense. But if you really step back, then giving the future, like going back to the example of heart failure between two people, giving the future to the 5-year-old makes a whole lot more sense than giving it to the adult. You take care of the vulnerable, you take care of the people you can, and you charge forward as a civilization. This right here shows right here that we're destined to fail if we can't even have a little bit of discomfort, which people dying is a discomfort. But if you're going to move on as a civilization, that's just part of it. Hope I explained my little stance there well, but this is ridiculous. What's happening. Anyway, comment, like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. All right.